Hey everybody, it's Dave Clark, aka the Pattern Guy. Hey, today we're going to do something a little different. I got the old guy here. This is the guy that got me into pattern making here. So it's my dad. Okay, what's your name?
Brian.
Clark.
Yeah.
Right. How old are you?
91.
91 years old. Okay. Where did you grow up?
In South Wales.
South
UK.
Wales?
Yeah.
What's the name of the city you grew up in?
What I worked in?
Barry. You grew up in
Barry.
Barry, Wales.
I was born in Barry. Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
And then when you got into working, you went over to.
When I was 16, I went to work in Sugarcane Foundry.
Tubal-Cain Foundry
In Cardiff.
in Cardiff, Wales. Okay, cool. What got you into pattern making?
Well, I don't know. It was an instinct. My uncle was a pattern maker, and I never seen him working, but I just had a feeling that I wanted to do what he was doing.
Uh-huh.
And I think my grandfather, he was a molder, and he was from up in the mining areas in Wales. But I had some tools, which you have right now,
Yeah.
and his name was on those tools, and they were pattern making tools. So I had the feeling that years ago, the molders in small foundries did the pattern making.
Yeah. Probably they were pattern makers and then went
And
out
they
and did
mo-
some
yeah.
molding, probably, right?
Well, there wasn't too much mining. In the mining, there wasn't too many different components that they had to use castings. You know, well, it was wheels and
Yeah.
the lifting gear.
Yeah.
and
So
all
there's
that.
probably a company that they probably had some castings there in the machinery.
Yeah.
That
right.
they probably made
Yeah,
their
they
own
had all the
parts
lifting
and
gear
things like
and all
that.
that.
Yeah, that's one of the things they used to do in the old days. A lot of times, a lot of the big companies, a lot of the steel mills, things like that, they used to have their own pattern shops. Actually, one of the guys I apprenticed under, he actually worked in a steel mill as a pattern maker, and when they had big machinery breakdown, you know, he'd make a pattern for a cast. They had a big machine shop there, and they made. So it's probably the same thing what they did there, right? So, what do you think the difference between? I've said this numerous times. Is you know, you European guys are, I think, way better craftsmen than Americans. Why do you think the European guys are better craftsmen than here in America?
You gotta think of in America, it's a young country, and you got younger people. But like in Europe, they were more established, like in the engineering field, like so.
Okay.
But it took a while, I guess, but we came over here like I came as a pattern maker, and we fitted right in, you know. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's the thing. I think, you know, like you said, you guys, you know, had older countries, were relatively new here in that. So
well, with pattern making, you gotta love it.
yeah.
If you love it, you're a good pattern.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's definitely. So I know we'll go over this a lot of times. A lot of times he says I'm better than he was. Okay, but that's debatable. Okay.
No.
Well, no, it is, because here's the thing. Why I think is back in the day, right? If you had a core box, you had to basically build the core box.
Right.
And core boxes are females, so it's way more difficult to build a female than it is a male.
Yeah.
So
In some
for
instances.
me, in some instances, yeah. So to me, it's easier. I can build a male stick or a core stick. We'll show it's exactly what a core will look like. And then we got plastic. You didn't have the plastics in the day, right?
No, we didn't make plastic.
So they had to do everything out of wood, right?
Yeah.
So tell me some of the glue how you had to do the glue.
Yeah, and it was all hand tools.
All hand tools, exactly.
we didn't have electric drills when I started.
Yep.
They were available because I started after the war.
Uh-huh.
But the hand tools, I mean, the racing bits and drills.
Yeah, the hurdy-gurdy drills.
Yeah, it was. And use of planes and all that.
Hand planes.
Well, when I came to this country to start, they said, "Oh, you don't use all that stuff."
Yeah.
But of course, you were way ahead of us with machinery.
Machinery, yeah, okay, yeah. But it's good, and like I said, that's where you guys are starting, or hopefully what we're doing is, we're doing this for young guys mostly, okay?
Yeah.
So we're trying to gear this more towards guys just starting out, and they're not going to be able to afford to go buy a joiner or a big sander.
No.
So we're going to teach them how to use the hand planes like you did in my old German foreman. You know, like I said, he used to make me hand plane everything, okay? So that's one thing I'm glad I learned how to do that, because like I said, I don't have a big pattern mill in here where I can, get boards flat. I got to do them by hand. Same thing with you guys.
It's good because if for some reason or other, all of a sudden we didn't have electricity, you're going to have to use those hand tools, aren't you?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yep. Yeah. So, yeah, that's, give me some, we got to do a couple stories here. Okay, so you were in the military, okay?
Yeah.
So you was in the British Army, you went over to Malaya, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So tell everybody the story. This is my favorite military story. I got a lot of friends that were in the military, told me a bunch of stories. This one to me is the best story I ever heard. So tell them about the boat, the hole in the boat.
Oh, well, we were stationed in the middle of Malaya, in the jungle, with a mobile workshop. And I was a carpenter, because we were in an engineering outfit. Well, one day the commanding officer called me into the office, and there was a naval officer in there. And I was kind of taken back, what's a naval guy doing in the middle of,
in the middle of the jungle.
So my commanding officer said to me, he said, "Can you fix a boat?" I said, "What do you mean fix a boat?" He said, "Well, the officer told me he got a hole in his transom, a log floated into their gunboat and put a hole in their transom." So I said, "Well, it's a wooden boat, yes." So I said, asked the officer how big the hole was, and he told me. And I said to well, I could fix it if I got the right material. And he said, "Well, what do you need?" I said, "Well, I need a copper patch, about so, forget the size, I do to cover it. And I need a piece of canvas and red lead or white lead, And I said, I need a bunch of copper nails, So, okay, that was it. So, believe it or not, they had all that material. We had mobile trailers full of equipment, and we had all that equipment. So, they had a machine shop, mobile machine shop. They drilled all the holes in the patch for me all around. And, okay, we get in a convoy now to go down to the boat and to fix it. So, okay, we go down there. And here they got an army wrecker crane, and they got on the bank, and they got they got a hoist on, they got it down, and they got the transom picked out of the water. But I had to go in about the middle of my belly to fix it. So before I go in, I'm looking around, and there's a tree there, and there's a guy up there with a machine gun, and there's guys all along the bank with guns. And I said to the officer, I said, oh, there was a sergeant alongside me. He said, "Is there the communists around you, this bandit, we call them bandits. Is it communists? He said, no, he said, we're not worried about communists or bandits. He said, we're worried about those buggers across there. And I looked, and there was hundreds of crocodiles on the bank. Boy, that patch went on in 2 minutes. Well, anyway, I got back to my unit, and I had to report back to my officer. And I told him, I said, you know, you didn't tell me there was all those crocodiles there. He said, well, he said, he went like this, he said, if I'd have told you, you would have told me that you couldn't fix the boat.
Oh,
yeah, that was just one of the things.
Yeah, well, we could stay all day and do that, you know. So it's you know, what over the years, what was some of the one of the memorable patterns you made over the years?
Well, in my last year's apprenticeship.
Wait, real quick, let me interrupt. You worked at Tubal Cain Foundry, okay?
Yeah.
What did you primarily do there?
Well, mostly it was marine work.
Okay.
I was on the end of the triple expansion steam engine.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of casting there. Yeah. And on those older ships, there was a lot of casting. Mm-hmm. Today it's all prefabricated. You know.
Okay, so you primarily did most of the pattern making there.
Yeah.
So what was one of your favorite patterns or memorable jobs you did there?
Well, my last apprenticeship, I cut an 18-foot propeller, but that wasn't a wooden pattern. It was, you had to have a good molder, and you used to strike it up 4 blades, you know, 3 blades. You divide a big circle up accurate, and you have a sweep. We call them a sweep. The angle of the propeller. Yeah. And then they would build them all up, and then they would sweep, and they'd get it down, and you'd have lines on there, which you would put on the sweep, and that would give you an indication. And then you'd actually build a blade on that sweep after they baked it, and you did it 4 or 3 times. Yeah. And then you would. You build it up, and then the molder would fill it in, and you'd form the propeller. Then he'd make the cup over that top.
Yeah, okay.
And then you take it off, then you take all out of the way. And that's how we used to make
so kind of almost how like they did the bells.
Yeah, then we actually made a triple expansion steam engine too, patterns. Yeah. The whole thing, and they had big stanchions to hold the cylinders up and everything. Yep. It's quite a big job. Yeah. But after I did my apprenticeship, I went in the military, then I came out, and I married your mum, and we couldn't get a place to live, so we emigrated. Then we emigrated to Canada, and I did lovely work there. I did work on, they were building a jet fighter then at that time, AVO. And I built the cockpit canopy, which was a beautiful job. And I built the outer mold for the engine. Okay. And that was a nice work. Then I did, I left there, and I did odd jobs in the other jobs, you know, but that was my most memorable stuff there. Yep, then of course I had an offer to come down to America with Ford Motor Company, and I did pattern making. So I worked on ships, I worked on aircraft, and I finished up with automobiles.
Automobiles, no trains though. I'm doing the trains, so that's cool. What do you have? What would you say today to a younger guy that wants to get into the trade?
Well, first of all, you've got to want to do it. You have to really. You need to love it, like you did when you were a little boy. You loved to be doing what your dad did. But I could tell right off the bat you were going to be good because of the way you handle tools. You're just a little guy, but you knew how to do it. And but any younger person, you have to want to do it real bad, and you got to put all your mind to it. You can't. It's not like you're building a wall or get carpentry. Forget it. It's not carpentry. You're doing model. It's like model making. You're doing the model, and it's got to be right.
Yeah.
And you got to use special rules to do it. You got to do shrink rules, whatever you're doing, whatever casting you're going to make it in iron, or you can make it in brass or aluminum. It has to be a shrink on it. And if it's going to be a master pattern, you add double shrink.
Yep.
So you gotta, but you have to love to do the job.
Yeah.
You have to really want to do it.
Yeah.
You can't go about it half-assed.
Yeah.
You gotta really want to do it right here.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what Joe told me. My first farmer.
Yeah.
He said it's 10% here, 90% here.
Yeah.
So you earn it from the guy,
Right.
right? So that's my dad. This is a guy that got me into doing this awesome trade here, and glad he did. So that's just thought we'd do something a little different, today.
You're good.
Yeah.
You're better than the old man.
Okay. All right. So. All right, thanks for tuning in again, guys. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. We'll do another chalk talk. Like I said, I promised we'd get into showing you how to surface smaller parts that you can't fit through the planer for the next chalk talk, all right? So, all right, have a good one out there, everybody.